Hi guys, how are you doing? Wanted to come on and say hello. How are you getting on with the summer song challenge? Hope that you're doing well. I want to kind of go through what we did yesterday. So I was wondering, have you done your homework? Remember what we were saying about wanted to look at the suggestions with looking at the lyric sheet and thinking about if you've got a copy of the lyrics, thinking about what you're going to do with your breathing and thinking about where that's going to go. Also looking at, remember, relaxing your jaw. Brian's joined us. Hi Brian, how you doing? Remember relaxing your jaw and buzzing. Oh, hi Brian. Hi Angie, how you doing? I'm going to wave hi. Hope you're having a good day. So how did you get on with your buzzing of your melody and stuff? Julie, you've joined us. Hi Julie. How did you get on? Did you do that melody? Just going really gently up and down. And what I would say, like, once you've done the buzzing and relaxing your jaw, that's great. Maybe going through the like singing along with the melody of the main song. I've made a little Spotify playlist for you. It's on the day one PDF in the little Google Drive. Let me know if you're not sure. I can send you a direct link to it as well. So you might be just playing along with the actual recording as opposed to the backing track karaoke version, whatever you want to call it. Doing it with the main melody first of all, so that you've got the other voice there. And further along the line, when you feel a wee bit more confident, we're going to start using just the instrumental karaoke backing track. But I know for some people that might seem a wee bit scary at first, so we're going to kind of get to that quite gently. Okay, so what we've done so far, you've looked at that bit, the low bits, and that's one of the things I wanted to do today. If you're struggling with that particular low bit, I want to show you an alternative. So remember guys, I've got the piano just down below me. I don't think you can see it on the screen, but it's right here, like right here. So look at this, let's have a look at this alternate line. So the very first beginning bit of the song. Oh, hi Cheryl, you joined us. Hi. Oh, you know what? You can come back here more often. Thank you, Cheryl. You're awesome. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so we're looking at that first bit, and remember it goes like this. Oh, I'll put the volume up on my piano. That would help a little bit, wouldn't it? Okay, so the first bit goes, will you lay me down, make your heart the only sound, will your fears all to the ground, will you hold me? I appreciate if you're a soprano voice, that might be pretty low for you. Don't want to see any heads tucking in like this, because that's a big no-no. Oh, sorry, I just realised my microphone's a wee bit funny, is it? Let's adjust that slightly. Okay, I think that's a bit better. Don't want to see any heads tucking in and coming down or anything like that. Your head should be in a neutral position all the time. If you want to try and do that lower bit, and maybe it's really, like, you're right in your boots of your range, it's right scraping right at the bottom, you might want to try it, like I said yesterday, you might try it and get quieter when you're going down to the extremes of your range. But if you still think that you're struggling, I want you to try this alternate line. Don't worry about memorising it just now. I'll go over it, but I'm going to make some more materials, support materials for you. I'm going to create an MP3 recording of just this alternate line. I'll upload that onto the Google Drive, so it's there and you can access it whenever you need it. Okay, so this alternate line is to go, will you lay me down, make your heart the only sound, from my fears all to the ground, will you hold me? So we'll try that again. I'm going to go a wee bit slower, okay? Well, if I compare and contrast, the original line is, will you lay me down, make your heart the only sound, from my fears all to the ground, will you hold me? If you need it to be a little bit higher, this is your alternate line, a little bit slower this time. Will you lay me down, make our hearts the only sound, from my fears all to the ground, will you hold me? And I've chosen those particular notes because they're quite close to what you're doing anyway, but it also matches in with the chords that we're doing, so it should work quite well. But don't worry guys, don't worry about trying to memorise it just from me performing that just now. I'm going to make the MP3. In fact, I'm going to do that like straight after this, and it'll be there maybe 10 minutes after. It'll be on the Google Drive waiting for you. So that's one thing to tick on our action steps for today. Tick. Okay, done. Then we're going to go on to the next bit, and that was remember I asked you to look at mapping out what you think you should be doing with your breathing. I printed out a lyric sheet and I created one, and uploaded it onto the Google Drive, and I would recommend that you use the one that I created, and there's good kind of reasons behind that. The main reason is that I've written it out so that basically the end of every line is basically where you should breathe. Some lyrics bits, you'll have lots of little tiny lines, like one, like hardly anything, not even a whole phrase, and it looks like you're meant to breathe at the end of every single bit. But actually, if you did that, you'll end up breathing way too much, and you'll end up feeling like you're gonna hyperventilate or something ridiculous like that. Okay. So look at that lyric sheet if you haven't already. Print it out, because it's got that layout that I think you should do. Oh, Mike's joined us. Hi Mike, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. So yeah, I'll give you an idea of why this is super important, guys. Sometimes it's difficult to look at a lyric sheet and to determine whether or not you should be doing a breath or a pause. So this is something that people often forget with singing, guys, that you don't need to take a breath at the end of every single line. And you know, when you're getting to the end of something, if you're not singing, doesn't mean you necessarily have to take a breath. If you think that you've got enough in you to keep going to the next bit, then that's fine. You just need to get used to not breathing at the end of every single bit. So I'll give you an example of this. Okay, I've got the sheet music down here, so I'm just searching for the bit that I'm looking for. Okay. See, a good example of this in this particular song, guys, like in the lyric sheets, like one line on normal lyric sheet will be, will you serenade me? And then in a second line, with the song you used to play. And you know what, that makes me want to just, it makes me get stabby for a number of reasons. Okay. The important one, number one, is that it messes with your breathing. If you go, will you serenade me with the song you used to play, that's kind of what the lyric sheet is indicating for you to do. So I've taken that out of my lyric sheet because I don't want anyone to be tempted to do that, because you'll do lots of shallow breathing. You feel like you've just got not enough time, so you end up kind of panic breathing that shallow, like you know, and then your shoulders get all tight, and you go down that path that's pretty dangerous for singers. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Mike, what is it you're saying? Hello, hi, yeah, it's too hot. It really is, isn't it? It's been blooming roasted in Aberdeen today. And I've been out like painting. You might have noticed actually, like in my living room, this used to be green, and now it's a kind of creamy, yellowy thing. Partly why I'm a bit late with the thing today is because I had my hair up in a bun and I had my painting clothes on and all that kind of thing, you know. But no, it's done now. It looks not too bad, is it? Okay. So yeah, it can interrupt your breathing, right? But it's also something that really kind of bugs me, is that think about how you would say it if you were just saying the words in everyday life. Okay. Like if I were going up to, you know, Mike, you're here, okay, Mike, will you serenade me with the song you used to play? No, that doesn't work, does it? No, it would be a more of a stream of consciousness, if you see what I mean. It would be, hey Mike, will you serenade me with the song you used to play? That sounds more like real life speaking, doesn't it? And you absolutely want to keep that when you're singing. You don't want to break up phrases, especially if it interrupts the natural patterns and rhythm of natural speech, because it makes it really obvious that you're singing, if you see what I mean. Does that make any sense? If you went, will you serenade me with the song you used to play, good singing should almost sound like you're speaking. You're just communicating an idea, that's all you're doing. Jennifer says, oh good, I was in a boat on the lake today. Oh, good. Yes. Okay, so I want you to try, like, especially for be mindful of where you take your breaths, so you absolutely do not interrupt natural flow of speaking. You don't break the phrases. You don't go, will you serenade me with the song you used to play? You go, will you serenade me with the song you used to play? Yeah, so it's more like speech. Will you serenade me with the song you used to play? And frankly, I think that's easier as well because it flows better, and once you get into get used to it, then you'll probably feel more comfortable and happier with your breathing because you won't go into this panic mode. Okay, let me give you another example. I'm just going to look at my sheet music again. Okay, so there's a bit later on in the song where it goes, just the sound of your voice is the thing that I need. Right? When it comes to the lyric sheet, sometimes it goes, just the sound of your voice is the thing that I need. That's too disjointed, isn't it? Think of it like speech. If you're ever not sure, practice the words as if it's like a script in a film or something, guys. It can sound a bit daft, but come on, you guys know me. You know I do daft stuff by now, right? Don't you? Okay, so think of it like if I try it just speaking, just the sound of your voice is the thing that I need. It flows really well because you're thinking, oh, that's a nice thing to say to somebody. Hey Jennifer, just the sound of your voice is the thing that I need. Yeah, and the way that it flows and the natural emphases of the words, you should keep that when you're singing. So say for instance for that bit, oh sorry, I got the wrong note. Just the sound of your voice is the thing that I need. You want to keep it all together. So that's where particular things when you're looking at the lyric sheet, you might be now, once you feel that you've buzzed and you're massaged and you've done your melody and that's okay and that's good, then you might move on to singing the melody but just a hum. That's good now. Okay, so now we want to look at not singing any of the words of the song just yet. I want you to look at the lyric sheet and think about where you're going to breathe. Even if you're just humming along just now, you're humming along with the lyric sheet in front of you and you're thinking about where you want to breathe. And remember guys, the lyric sheet is yours. It's yours to keep, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can highlight it, you can scribble on it, you can put wee notes on it, you can put lots of scrawls on it with your pen. Anything that helps you to remember the things that are important. It's one of my real bugbears is when people break up phrases like that. So that's something that we need to make sure that we avoid. And I appreciate if you're not that experienced with singing, maybe doing one of these longer phrases might feel a wee bit scary for you because it means that you have to hold your breath and you need to control your breath for a little bit longer. But I'd like to reassure you it's absolutely worth it. And once you get used to singing and holding the breath and singing the phrase for a little bit longer, it can feel easier because your body will feel more relaxed and in control. It just takes a wee bit of getting used to it and a bit of perseverance. Okay, so that's that thing. I've got my little list. The PDF that I made for you guys is actually a reminder for me of the things that I wanted to cover as well. So tick! Now we're going to move on to that next bit. Remember we covered the kind of lower parts yesterday, but what I'd like to do now is look at some of the higher bits. So let's see where we're going. Okay, so see we've got that bit that goes 'cause all I need is somebody with me. Is somebody near me when my heart gets weak. Somebody out there watching over me when I'm so tired I can't even sleep. Okay, I wanted to try and look at that bit, but we're going to break it down. And this is another thing that can be quite difficult, guys. It's where the song sits in your voice. When you're getting up to that bit where we're going, it's like getting the B flat into that C, 'cause all I need is somebody. Round there, it's pretty tricky, and that's because it's getting near the bridge of your voice. The bridge is like a couple of notes that might feel a bit weak or uncontrolled for you, and everyone has at least one bridge in their voices. It's just that sometimes when you've been singing for a long time, part of the training of being a good singer is to blend the different parts of your voice so that your bridge in your voice is hardly noticeable, if noticeable at all. So sometimes when you first start, the bridge in your voice might be really obvious. You might get to this bit and you might struggle a bit. This is why we have to be very careful with approaching it. It's like cooking, it's low and slow, okay? This is what we're going to do for this little phrase. We're going to do it low and slow, first of all, and kind of build up to it so that you're not attacking it with all of a sudden going into this higher part of your range, because it's important that we control what we're doing, especially if it's unfamiliar to you. If it's right in the middle of your bridge, and we have to be very careful, and we have to be making sure that things are controlled a lot. So what I would say is that for this particular bit, starting low and building up to it and stuff, but you have to be quite wary of like things that might feel a bit weak sounding. You might go, 'cause all I need is somebody, and you get to this bit that sounds kind of weak and feeble, and you might have quite a full body, strong kind of voice lower down. Then you get to this particular bit and you sound a wee bit like a choir boy that started on day one and doesn't really know what they're doing. They're like, it might sound a bit wobbly and weak, you know. That's a sign that you're getting near the bridge in your voice. And usually what happens, people think that that's like the highest part of their voice and that's it. That's usually not the case. You can usually sing a bit higher than that. You just need to kind of get past that bridge bit of your voice and then you're fine. And part of it is also knowing how to control the bridge as well. From my experience as a singing teacher, especially with like female voices, but it's usually the case for male voices as well, generally speaking, the bridge in people's voices tends to be around B flat, B, C kind of area. My bridge is around that C note, so I know when I get to that bit, I have to control my voice, and I know like I know instinctively when I'm in my bridge of my voice, but that's through my own experience of mapping out my own voice and knowing where it is. You might not necessarily have that right now, but more that we look after your voice and have a practice, you'll be more familiar with your voice and you'll know what's the high bits of my voice, what's the middle, what's the bridge, what's the low bits, and that all just comes with time and being more and more familiar. So I want to go to this 'cause all I need. If I just do it slowly again, so let's see if I show you. 'Cause all I need is somebody hear me when my heart gets weak. Somebody out there watching over me when I'm so tired I can't even sleep. Okay, so I wanted to try that bit. We're going to do 'cause all I need is somebody. Let's just chunk it down for a little bit just now. I would just say before we kind of start it, we need to make sure that we're doing what we're doing with our mouth shapes when we do this. So one of my things that I seem to say quite often is, if in doubt, go ah. Because a lot of the time when people are getting things wrong, it's because the mouth has become small for some reason. So say for the word all, I want you to make sure that you're going ah, making sure that your jaw is relaxed. And the same thing for somebody. I like you to think of the word as not somebody anymore, almost like somebody. Somebody. It might feel quite weird because your jaw might be moving up and down a lot. So when you're doing that particular phrase, if I could just show you what my jaw should be doing. 'Cause all I need is somebody. And if I do that for the bit a bit slower. 'Cause all I need is somebody. So I'm doing that, and it can feel a bit weird because you might feel like proper weird when you're doing it, and I totally understand. It might feel like you're a bit like a ventriloquist's dummy, and this is a kind of funny and difficult part of singing. You have to almost separate how you speak something with how you sing something. Sometimes it can be completely different, and to try and equate singing as speaking in some respects, it can be really difficult. With the expression of words, then it is the same because you want to keep the natural flow of speech and you don't want to break up the phrases. But sometimes when it comes to the pronunciation of the words, we have to adapt them to make them easier to sing. And this little phrase is a good example of that, because you're making things sound more ah. So instead of 'cause all I need is somebody, this is kind of more like what you would do it if you were speaking. You want to change that to 'cause all I need is somebody. I do this all the time when I'm teaching, and it sounds totally ridiculous when you isolate it like that. Let's try and put it like, if I was speaking, try to do the song, but like kind of like if I was speaking it. I'll give you an example. 'Cause all I need is somebody. All the time my mouth is quite small, and because of that, the lovely sound that I'm making is kind of trapped inside here. It can't get out. My voice isn't resonant because the mouth space inside is small and it can't do anything. But if I change it to more like, all I need is somebody, I want you to hear the difference here, okay? All I'm doing is changing, relaxing my jaw more and making my mouth more open, but open in a particular way. We don't want a letterbox like E. We want it still narrow. I sometimes do this a lot when I'm teaching as well. Make sure that the corners of your mouth don't go like your mouth shape shouldn't be any wider than the edges of your nose. If you want to make your mouth bigger, it's not side to side like this. You make it more up and down. Think like a bird's beak or something. I always think about that, like a bird's beak, and that helps me a lot. So it's narrow, but it's like up and down a lot, like yeah. So let me show you the difference. 'Cause all I need is somebody. Sometimes if you're like struggling with a song, it could be just because the only reason you're having a problem is because your mouth has become small. So I want you to kind of be mindful of this, and that's why I asked you to start with massaging your jaw to make sure that your jaw is relaxed, and when you come to these difficult phrases, it doesn't lock up and your mouth doesn't become small. So for people that maybe this bit particular is getting into the bridge of your voice, I want to try a little exercise that I've adapted just for this song, so we can practice low and slow and we can build up. Don't worry, like, I'm going to show you an example of it just now, but I'll make an MP3 for you so you can have a look later on. Okay, so we're trying that phrase, but we're going to do it a way lower. It's going to sound a little bit weird, guys, but trust me, we're going to go a wee bit. Oh, let's just go this round a bit. There we go. We're going to build it up, okay? So the first bit, low and slow. 'Cause all I need is somebody. Then we go up a key. A wee bit higher again. 'Cause all I need is somebody. Okay, then we go up another key. Then we go up to the next bit. Right, here we go. 'Cause all I need is somebody. Then we go up to the next key. This is what the actual sound of the song is. Oh, Sandra's round. Hi, how you doing? So the next bit goes, 'Cause all I need is somebody. Let's go back down to the bottom again and try it one more time. So feel free to sing along if you want, guys. Don't worry if you're not sure about joining straight away. Maybe you need to listen a couple of times. I'll make an MP3 for you so you can try it whenever you like. Okay? Let's go for that low bit again. Back down to the bottom. Here we go. 'Cause all I need is somebody. Then we go up to the next bit, one key higher. 'Cause all I need is somebody. Then we go up to the next bit again. Here we go. 'Cause all I need is somebody. Then we go up to the actual key it should be in, right? Here we go. 'Cause all I need is somebody. Okay, guys, I want you to try that a couple of times. Just that little higher phrase in isolation before we start looking at the song as a whole. I want you to be like comfortable with singing the melody lots of different ways before we start letting the words come in. So we'll be doing that buzzing with our jaw, then we'll be doing the hum and really a different option that we can do. Oh, hi Charlene, you joined us, how are you doing? Hope that you're well. So then once you've maybe done the melody with a couple of different things without the words, whether that's a hum or or v or or whatever, then you might be willing to look at the alternate lines that I said earlier on. For if it's maybe too low for you, some of those low bits, I've made that alternate line. I've got the MP3 for you. I'll get that sorted. Then we need to look at what we're doing with our breathing. we need to make sure that, oh, we wave, hi Shelley. Hope that you liking my summer song challenge. So yeah, I want to look at what we're doing with our breathing. So guys, I would recommend that you go for my lyric sheet, because I've formatted it in the way that this is where the breathing should be. So it should be easier for you, because I made it clear pretty much like the end of every line is where you breathe. Or I would say, like, usually when I put in a comma as well is where you should take a breath too, but it should be easier to follow. Something that I would want you to be very mindful of is not breaking up the phrases. So none of this, will you serenade me with the song you used to play, keep it flowing. Will you serenade me with the song you used to play? Keep it all together. Might take a little bit getting used to if you're new to singing, but it'll definitely be worth it if you persevere. What's the other thing I sing? Oh yeah, that little passage, 'cause all I need, I don't want you to kind of go straight into it, because if you're relatively new to singing, this is where people do some damage to their voice, guys, when they venture into these bits where their voice is feeling a bit uncontrolled and weak, because it's in the bridge of your voice. And from my own personal experience as a teacher, especially if you're a female voice, when you get up to B flat, B, C, it's pretty likely your bridge is going to be in there, so we have to be incredibly careful. That's why we're starting low and slow with this, that low exercise, slowly building up a key a bit, and so you feel more comfortable, you know where the pattern is, and you know what's coming up, you're getting used to it. Half the problem, I think, guys, when people are trying these things is that they maybe try things too high, which is one problem, but another problem is that they're not sure of the pattern of the notes, so they're kind of feels a wee bit like they're stabbing in the dark, and you don't want to do that when you're in a vulnerable part of your voice. It'd probably be pretty fine, to be honest, if you were singing in a comfortable part of your voice. Is not a problem. You don't want to be doing that when you're near your bridge. It's just a recipe for disaster, so we want to avoid that at all costs. So guys, support materials I've got for you is that alternate vocal line. Grab that melodic sheet, the little excerpts for low and slow, or the passage, 'cause all I need. So your homework for tomorrow, I want you to have a little practice of the alternate lines if you feel that you need them. It might not necessarily be for everyone, but that's fine. I like you to try and hum the melody of the whole song, just going with the backing track. Try it with the brrr or the v or a rrr or a mm. So I'll probably do that probably tomorrow morning or something. I'm going to come on here and I'll just do a practice with you. So I'm a fan of don't want anyone to feel like they're being a total tube on their own. So I'll be a tube with you. Yay! Okay, so I want to practice that bit, the 'cause all I need passage, low and slow. And another thing that I said for the homework, speak the lyrics. I like you to just get your lyric sheet once you've worked out your breathing and you feel quite happy with that. I want you to just speak the whole words of the song like it's a script in a movie. So if I just did the first little bit and it's total deadpan, imagine that it's like you're reciting poetry or something. Will you lay me down, make our hearts the only sound, throw my fears all to the ground? Will you hold me? Will you serenade me with the song you used to play, till the night turns into day? Will you hold me? It sounds a bit daft, doesn't it? But I want you to notice when you do that, the natural pattern of speech that you have. And this is an important element of creating a good interpretation for a song, guys. A good interpretation doesn't have to be completely different to the original. It really doesn't. It just needs to be more sincere. It has to be genuine to you. And a good way of doing that is just going along with your natural way that you want to do things. And that might sometimes be different from what I want to do. Say for instance, particular phrase, I might want to emphasize one word in that phrase, a particular word that I gravitate to or whatever. You might choose a different word in that phrase, and that's totally okay. I might decide to make something a bit quieter, or this is kind of similar to emphasis in a way, but sometimes you might want to make something, a particular part, more expressive. You might have a natural temptation to make something louder and more expressive that way or something, you know, and that's totally okay as well. I want you to kind of explore the possibilities, and when you're singing the song, please don't be tempted to mimic Paloma Faith. Putting aside the fact that honestly I don't particularly like her as an artist, that's just my, you know, though I would say that I do actually like this song, but overall Paloma Faith doesn't really, she's not my cup of tea, yeah. But putting that aside, you know, it's not about, oh, don't mimic Paloma Faith because I don't like her. That's not it at all. I would say this for any artist. You don't want to perform a song and sound exactly like the original artist, because then honestly I feel like performance is a bit pointless if you're just going to be being a carbon copy of them. I want you to notice which words, when you're doing the deadpan, just speaking it, I want you to notice which words you want to emphasize, and maybe like get your lyric sheet and like put a wee circle on that word, or you underline it or something, so that you remember, and it'll be easier to make it more like a sincere interpretation that's true to you. So guys, I hope that helps. So remember your homework for tomorrow. I'll probably go on here tomorrow morning, being a bit of a tube, doing some of the hums and stuff for the melody line, right? Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I hope you've had a great evening, and remember your homework. Okay, thanks guys, I'll see you later. Bye.